Today we're going to talk about how to say no and prioritise yourself and your family. Hello, my name's Rachel and I do videos all about decluttering, minimalism and my no spend year, and this is another one of the Minimalist Living series videos in which we're going to talk about different ways to simplify your life and make sure that you are doing the best for yourself. This video in particular, we're going to talk about how to say no to things that we shouldn't be doing, especially if we are somebody that is always saying yes. Have you always been a people pleaser? Have you always said yes to everything? If someone asks for help, you say, yes, I can do that. If somebody says, can you do this job for me? Yeah, of course, no problem. Shall we go shopping? Yes, I'd love to do that. That's what you want to do. We get in the habit of saying yes to everything. We are that kind of generation where we just agree to do whatever comes our way, and to an extent that is great because that opens up lots of doors and lots of opportunities, but it also can be hindering to you as well. What we want is the best for the people around us, so we say yes to these things thinking that they are going to benefit us as well, but quite often they are benefiting the other person and it's not necessarily good for our own well-being. That's what I want to talk to you about today, because if you are somebody that says yes to absolutely everything, you need to start saying no so that you can start prioritising yourself. So every time we say yes to something else, we could be saying no to something that could be really important to us. So it's important that we find a balance within this, because if we're not prioritising ourselves, it can leave us feeling underwhelmed, it can leave us feeling fatigued and not having our fulfilled life that we would quite want. Saying no will transform the narrative from prioritising others to prioritising ourselves. And sometimes this is exactly what we need to be able to get back on track. So why say no? If you're a people pleaser, the chances are you have probably been prioritising other people for most of your life. I was definitely somebody that said yes to everything. I'd say yes to any kind of offer of opportunity to do something, and I'd say yes to every event or social activity that I was invited to, but not all of them suited me, and it took until more recently for me to realise that actually that was detrimental to my well-being, because I was then prioritising others and what they needed rather than focusing on what works for me and what is best for me. What I found was that then I didn't have time for my own needs like self-care, for hobbies and for things like that, and that meant that my well-being suffered and my mental health suffered. It meant that I felt off balance, and saying no to things has made a real big difference in how I feel about my life. I feel like I'm in control, I feel like I have a better balance between what I say yes to and what I say no to, and that works well for me. So what should you say no to? So knowing what to say no to is going to be completely personal to you. There is not a one-fits-all size approach to this. So I'm going to list some areas that you might need to look at, and it's up to you really as to which is going to be the most impactful for you. If there is one particular area that you find, actually I'm saying yes to everything and that's an area that I could cut back on, or is it another area that suits you more? So first up is social events with people that you're not really that close to. So these are like acquaintances and things that you get invited to, maybe catch-ups or lunches or dinners or occasions like birthdays, celebrationary things, but they're not really people that are that close to you. This might be an area that you find that you're saying yes to too much, and that could be an area that you cut down. You want to think about which of those people you want to develop relationships with and which ones maybe might not be as important and could take a back seat. It could be that you say yes to bigger social events like concerts or festivals or big days out. Are you doing too much of those kind of things? Is that an area that you might think that you could negotiate doing less of? Maybe you're doing them every week. Could you cut it down so that you're doing it every other week? Think about whether or not that is something that is too much for you at the minute, or you're finding you're doing too much of. And the third area is jobs or like helping others. Are you doing too many things that are specifically helping others, which is absolutely a great thing to do, but is that something that you're doing too much of? Is that your biggest area? Think about which of those three areas you are saying yes to the most, and that might be a focus to be able to think about that area and how you can reduce down what you're doing. Now it's time to talk about how to say no. So you're going to have to get your big girl pants on for this one, and you're going to need to be brave. So most of the time you'll get less of a backlash than you might think when you're thinking about occasions where you might just be a number, an additional person that is just making numbers. Actually, your decline of an invitation might not be so important to that person for that event. It's just about filling seats, if that makes sense. So you might not get much of a response when you are saying no to those kind of events. However, you may get more of a response when you say no to other events. And this is where you need to think about how you're going to approach that, if you're going to explain yourself or not. Absolutely, you do not have to explain yourself at all for saying no to something. That is absolutely your choice, and you are free to do so without explaining. Don't ever feel like you have to be pressured. If you have to be pressured for a reason, then maybe it's something to think about when you're considering the friendships and relationships that you have, whether or not that is something that you want to be forced into, because that's not a good situation to be in either. For those events that you are saying no to, you may want to have some pre-planned things that you want to say so that you are prepared and you know exactly how you're going to deal with that situation. So I've got a couple of suggestions of the types of things that you could say depending on your reasoning as to why you do not want to attend. Let's think about a delayed meeting up scenario where you can't attend the event but you do want to catch up with them. What you could say is, I won't be able to attend insert event here, but I would like to catch up soon. It's saying that you still want to connect with them, but you just can't do that right now. And if it's a case that you're saying no because you are snowed under and you have too much on your plate at the minute, here's a suggestion of how you could approach that. I'm sorry that I won't be able to attend insert event here, but I'm finding it a little bit tricky at the minute to balance the things that I have on my plate. So I need to take time away from events to allow things to settle. I would love to catch up about how it went very soon. If it's the case that you need some more time for yourself and it's me time that you're after and that's your reasoning behind saying no, you could say, I'm sorry that I won't be able to attend insert event here. I need to prioritise time for me to rest and reset. I hope you understand and I hope your event goes well. It would be great to catch up when I'm feeling more myself soon. I hope you understand. Obviously you can word things to more like how you would say things, but thinking about those kind of planned phrasing that you would like to say just helps take the edge off. You don't have to go into any specific details. It's just about saying that things are not quite as you want them so that you can say no with confidence. Let's talk about finding a balance. It's not always possible to say no to events. There are some non-negotiable events that might be with friends or with family, and that's okay, and there's a limited amount of things that you can do to that. You can't say no to some of the more important, significant events. What you can do is look at the negotiable events and look at which ones are ones that you could say no to so that you can find some kind of balance. There are going to be ones that are always going to be prioritised. You have to attend, you have to be there, and there are some that you don't. And it's those ones that you're going to have to think about which ones you can't attend so that you can make that balance. It's not ideal, but if you explain that you've got those non-negotiables and that's why you have to get rid of one of these non-negotiables, then hopefully they might be able to understand that. It's about speaking openly with people about your situation as you feel comfortable to explain as much as you feel like you want to explain. So what do you say yes to? Moving forward, it's important that you think about what you say yes to in the future when you get asked in the first place so that you can avoid some of these situations where you're then having to decline but you've already said yes to. You want to think about situations that you're invited to so that you are saying no at the first point of call rather than saying yes and then having to decline later, which makes a much more difficult situation to deal with. Think about things as you get invited and respond accordingly so that you can ensure that you are balancing your schedule, your time, your me time, etc. within that. So make sure that you have a really good calendar in place that you have access to everything. Like on your phone, that's what I do for me. I have a calendar on my phone and I check there before I say yes to anything. I make sure that that week is not too busy, that the event doesn't fall on another day or another event, so that I'm spacing things out so that I have better control on my balance of life, so I know that I have time for me, I have time to say yes to events. So I'm finding that balance as I negotiate saying yes or no to events. Make sure that you say yes to events that make you happy. Make sure you say yes to ideas or situations that suit your moral agreement, so that you are thinking about those kind of things. You're not at an event or occasion that doesn't quite sit right with you, so that you are not feeling uncomfortable. You want to say yes to events with people in it that make you happy and make you feel good, because surrounding yourself with positive people is going to really make a difference to that. You want to say yes to self-care activities, to your hobbies, make sure that they are balanced within your activities. Say yes to exercise that you want to do, whether or not that's walking or a jog or whether it's going to the gym. Say yes to those kind of activities that you are happy with, and say yes to social activities that suit your needs. Are they with people that make you feel good, that is going to be a situation you're going to enjoy and get some good memories and feelings from? So that's my advice on how to say no to situations and to prioritise yourself and your family, so that you can maximise your balance within life, so that you are getting what works for you as well as what works for others. Let me know in the comments below if you are keen to prioritise yourself. What is the first step that you're going to do to say no to something or to prioritise yourself? I would love to know what your plans are. And I shall be back for more videos on decluttering, minimalism and my no spend year. Don't forget to subscribe down below if you want to see more videos on this, and don't forget to hit the notifications button as well. And I shall see you soon. Take care. Bye.